that a lot of people make when they are either looking to relocate or they are looking to get jobs abroad. They always think that it is about a visa. They always think it is about a visa. And here's one thing that you probably don't hear as often as you should. The visa is just one part of it. As a matter of fact, it's the easy part. The hard part is convincing a company in another country that you are worth paying for. And that's what we are going to be learning tonight. How do you get an organization that is in another country to pay you to see your skills? How do you get from where you are right now to where you need to be? And I want to say this before we move forward. Not everybody wants to leave their country. If you're in Kenya, if you're in Nigeria, if you're in Ghana, whatever country you're in, not everybody wants to leave. Some people are fine where they are. They just want a better job. They want better pay without having to relocate. And that is completely valid. One thing to note is that the same skill sets that get someone to Canada is the same skill set that can get you a fantastic job in whatever country you're in. The only difference between the people who achieve this and the people who don't is information. They don't have the right information. Now, before we go forward, I would like to meet some of the people on the call. I'd like you to share your name, share your name and your location so we can see where you're joining us from. Okay, so you can type that in the chat section. Just drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat section. I like very interactive classes. The form isn't opening. Gladys, you need to copy the form. You need to copy this link. Okay, I'm just going to send you the link. Okay, so you can try this. Just click on this, or you can copy it and paste it in your browser. Okay, we have Zioma from Abuja. We have Ebele from Abuja. We have Esther from Lagos, Oscar from Lagos, Emmanuel from, we have a lot of people from Abuja. What's going on there? We have Shani from Lagos, Samuel from Abuja. At this point, we say that 80% of the people on the call are from Abuja. Okay, fantastic. All right, nice to meet everyone. Labake, Hanutu, Marcus, Augustine, Apostle, Lillian, Peter, Mayor. Fantastic. Rent wants to kill us in Abuja. Okay, that is fantastic information. You know, we're going to be talking about how you can afford to have the rent not kill you in today's session. But thank you so much, everyone, for introducing yourselves. One thing I want you to note is you have people from different cities in this conversation, and that is the power of tech, to connect people in different parts of the world and bring them into one place. For everyone who has ever worked remotely, or even you're calling your family is in the UK, your family is in Canada, or your family is in Nigeria or wherever, you understand how important technology is. And it's only because of technology like Google Meet and Zoom that we're able to collaborate remotely. And because of that, the way we work has completely changed. There are people who are landing remote jobs from wherever they are. And the only thing that separates you from that is two things. Number one is the skill. Number two is the information. So let's get into it. This webinar was built exactly for people like you who are saying, you know what, I want to move to the next stage. But the question is, how do I do that? Now, 72% of employers globally, they say that they cannot find the AI skills that they need. This was a real survey, by the way. So what this tells you is that there is a shortage in the market. And you know what happens when there is a shortage? When there is a shortage for something, the demand goes up, the supply drops, and when that happens, what people pay to have that, it increases. So if, for example, when there's fuel scarcity in Nigeria, what happens? When there's scarcity, the price for fuel goes up. Yesterday's price is not today's price all of a sudden. And that's exactly how the market is when it comes to AI skills or skills of any kind. It's just that right now, AI is the biggest market as of this moment for skills. However, 72% of employers cannot find the AI skills that they need. And this is globally. This is not just in Canada or just in Australia or Ireland, it's globally. Now, 67%, I want you to note this, 67% higher pay for AI skilled roles. This is not a small gap. It's 67%. And this shortage is happening in 41 countries. We've got UK, Canada, Australia, Germany. And yes, companies, even companies operating in Nigeria that are hiring for these roles. So what this means is I need people to fill this gap. I don't have these people, and because of that, the price for this is high. But note something, this is not going to remain like this for a long time. As time goes on and we have more and more people who are getting skilled in AI, this will start to drop. It's why one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to achieve is to get in on what I call the first mover's advantage when it comes to AI. That means that the first set of people who get in successfully, get skilled, and then start to get these jobs are the people who are going to reap the most benefits from it. Every day that you wait, every minute that you wait, we've got thousands of people who are upskilling, and that means less opportunities for you, less chances for you. So you cannot afford to wait. Now, for the people who are on this call, you are either fresh students or graduates, maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're already working, but you're looking for something or you want to upskill. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have a business and you're thinking, how can AI help accelerate my business? Maybe you're a freelancer, so you're a contractor, you work for a bunch of companies, maybe you're a consultant. But one thing that you all share in common, I would say it comes down to one thing. It's ambition. Ambition for I am here right now and I want to move to the next stage of my career. Lola, how can I do that? How can I become skilled in AI? I hear everybody talking about AI, but what does that mean for me? How do I use this to accelerate my career? Now, a lot of times you find that people will stay in jobs that are no longer beneficial for them. When a lot of people are moving abroad, one of the last things they think about is what kind of job am I going to get there? It's kind of like a thing of, you know what, I'm going to cross that bridge when I get to it. And this is how you find that people who, maybe you used to work in HR, or maybe you were a business, maybe you were in the finance industry in maybe let's say Nigeria, for example, and then you move abroad. All of a sudden, you're working a care job. Now, these are honorable roles, absolutely, and they're legal. But at the end of the day, is that the level that you are on? You certainly can do more. A lot of times when people would now say, you know what, you have to go and get another certificate because your certificate doesn't work. You don't have local experience. If you don't have local experience, nobody wants to hire you. So people would plan for the move itself, but then they forget that when I move, I need to get a job. And usually when that conversation or when that thought comes up, it's I'm just going to go back to school. But how many people can afford to go back to school? A lot of people are moving and entering fantastic opportunities. A lot of people find fantastic opportunities where they are. And that's why I say the biggest gap that you have right now is skill and information. So how do we close this gap? Now, my name is Dola Femi, and I'm a product and operations leader with over 10 years of experience. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've been in tech and I've worked across various industries from operations to e-commerce to GovTech to CX to fintech. Oh, I mentioned fintech. One thing that you find across tech is that tech values people who drive value. That is the one thing that connects everyone in tech. It values people who are problem solvers. And that is exactly what this wave is rewarding. This new wave that we're seeing with people who are who are upskilling in AI, people who are getting fantastic opportunities, it is valuing those who are using AI to solve problems. So the question is, how do you become one of those people? Now, I've been on both sides of the table. I have hired for roles, and I've also been hired as well. And that gives me a unique perspective on what it looks like on both sides. It's exactly why I'm going to be sharing with you the tips on how you can get these jobs, how you can interview for these roles, and how you can land these roles. Now, you don't have to worry, you are in fantastic hands. At 10 Analytics, we have done this over 4,000 times. And when I say 4,000, it doesn't mean that we have only helped 4,000 people or only upskilled 4,000 people. We've upskilled thousands of people. However, 4,000 people, over 4,000 people came back and said, hey, I have gotten a job. Now, we have a USP, that is our unique selling point. Our unique selling point is that we're able to, our unique selling point is the number of people who come in through our doors and get a job. So everything that we teach you in the program, everything that you learn here is about getting a job. You can go to Coursera and go learn a new skill. You can go to Udemy and learn a new skill. But why should you come to 10 Analytics? What is different about what we do at 10 Analytics Business? It is the employability aspect. Now, we have helped over 4,000 people, like I said, and these are people who majorly have no prior experience in tech. So I'm talking about people who come from traditional backgrounds. Maybe it's their first time dealing with data. They have no idea what it's like to deal with Power BI. And then they're just entering that space. And we have successfully helped over 4,000 of people like that fully transition into tech. Now, we have our office in Alberta, Canada, and then we're also based in London, UK as well. Now, we help people transition into a range of roles. That includes cybersecurity, data analytics, health tech, business analysis, data engineering, financial analytics, HR analytics, project management, and product design. One thing that you are going to find that is consistent, yes, Abel, the call is recorded, and just fill out the form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat. There is an attendance form they're sharing in the chat section. Fill that out, and you're going to have access to the recording and the slides that I'm using. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Tolu. Right. So one thing I always say to people, like I mentioned, is over 4,000 people, and this is not the number of people who are coming. This is the people who come back to say, "Hey, I have gotten a job," and this means that in the last 5 years, over 5 years, going on 6 years now, I think we're going to be 6 years next month. We have perfected the playbook. Over time, we've had to change it to adjust it in the market to see what is working. Because again, the USP is the number of people who come in and get jobs. So if your goal is, I want to get a job, not just I want to come in and learn a brand new skill, then you are in the right place, because that's exactly what we are designed to do. Now, like I mentioned before, there is an AI talent shortage. It's one of the reasons why we teach people skills in this space. We do that because the core of our program, like I mentioned earlier, is helping you get jobs. Now, how do you get jobs in a space that is crowded? And that's one of the reasons why what we do at the start of every year is we take a look at what the job market is saying. We take a look at the jobs that are open, what recruiters are hiring for. And we say, hey, what is the hottest job right now in the market? What are the hottest jobs? What are their categories? And then we design our curriculum around that, building the skills to help people get those jobs. So the entire program is designed around this. Now, when you're looking at the scale of AI shortage, we've got 1.6, I'm going to say over 1.6 million open AI positions right now. This is globally. And this is against a qualified pool of 518,000 candidates. That is 3 open roles for every one person that is qualified to fill them. And what this means practically is that companies are not being picky right now. One of the most important things for you to learn as a professional is how you can use AI as a force multiplier. If you are serious about standing out in the market, you have to understand how you can use AI as a force multiplier. I'm going to put things into perspective for you. So I have I know someone who was working in a company, and at the time when she was working in the company, she came in and she had a portfolio that she was managing. This is a company in Canada. And she came in, she had a portfolio. They had a store on Shopify where they sold, and they said, hey, we have a problem. We need to hit XX targets this quarter. And then when she came in, she refines their process, and they began to sell. And she's pretty fantastic at what she does. And this is someone who, whenever there's a new feature in AI or there's a new tool, there's something fantastic going on in the AI community, she's always on top of it. So she was able to use AI to redesign their CRM. By the way, it wasn't in any way in her job description. She used this to refine their CRM. She built this directly in Sheets, and it was just fantastic automation. And the goal of this automation is that every single customer who comes into this pipeline, we can track them. We can say this is where they're at when it comes to the conversion funnel. We can track what our conversion rate is, and then we aggressively follow up with those leads before they become cold. She did so amazing. They thought, you know what, we're going to increase your portfolio. And then they moved supply chain under her portfolio. So from what she was managing from a Shopify store that was growing to like $200 month on month, she now started managing a supply chain portfolio as well. So now she was also handling the procurement, getting the products from the manufacturers and shipping it into Canada, and then distributing it as well. So she was managing an incredibly large and growing distribution network. However, a couple of things happened, and she said, you know what, this is not working out for me. She and the company decided it's best for me to go my separate ways. Now, this is what happens when you are a valuable candidate. They did everything to keep her, but she had decided she wanted to walk. Now, when she walked, by the time she was leaving, they put together job description. The first job description they put together to post was trying to find someone who could fill her role. So they were looking for someone who could basically handle three things, because she was handling procurement, she was handling supply chain, the logistics, the distribution network part of it, and then she was also handling e-commerce. So finding someone who could handle so much at the same time, they put together what you can call a unicorn job description. And it was crazy to me when I read it. It's one of the reasons why I always tell people, don't be intimidated by job descriptions. You see a job description and they're asking for heaven and earth. Apply. Even though you meet 40% of the requirements, because those people who are recruiting for the roles, they have no idea what they're looking for. Now, what's really interesting is we're having a conversation about this when she shared it with me, and I told her, this is crazy. How in the world can they be looking for one person to fill this? Now, they were doing that because this is exactly what she was doing. But the question you should be asking is, how was she able to do so much? One person was handling supply chain, she was handling procurement, she was handling distribution, and then she was also handling Shopify. She was able to do this through AI. So all of the systems that she automated, all of the systems that she designs this using AI. So eventually, when the company realized, wow, her notice period is almost up, we can't get anyone to fill this role, they had to break her job description, her function. They broke it apart into three. So they were basically replacing one person with three roles. And this is exactly how you can become valuable using AI. The people who are valuable, who are indispensable, the people who is very hard for you to let go of, are the people who are doing way more than you would expect them to. And doing that does not necessarily mean that you have to stretch yourself to impossible standards. Not today. 10 years ago, yes. 5 years ago, absolutely. But today, you just need to know the right AI tools. You need to know how to leverage the skills that you have, how to leverage your knowledge of AI and do things faster. That is how you become valuable. And that is exactly what she did. She got a fantastic job, by the way. She got a fantastic job offer after a couple of weeks in the market. People like that, they don't stay long. They get snatched up like this. People who can design systems, who are problem solvers. It's why people would ask me, tech is saturated. Yes, that is true. It is saturated. However, you know what is not saturated? Problem solvers. We don't have enough problem solvers. Now, like I said, 72% of employers, they cannot find the AI skills that they need. And AI pays way more than traditional tech roles. And one thing is that it takes 66 days on average to fill just one AI role, just one. 66 days. That's over 2 months to fill one AI role. And sometimes you could see a company hiring over and over and over again for the same role because they are simply not finding anybody. It's a very interesting phenomenon. You know why? Because there are so many tools out there. And these days, it's so easy for you to gain information. You just go and you learn a brand new course, you learn the skill, and then you can now start practicing and you can now add this to your resume and start applying for jobs. But a lot of people don't do this. I call this information fatigue. It's where there's so much information online. There's so many cool things that you can learn, but then you don't have direction. So what is the best way for me to go? Point me in the right direction. How do I do this? How do I apply? How do I this? Because there's just so much information that it can be very confusing for people. Now, one thing I want you to carry is that every single person who is on this call today can be part of the crowd that they simply cannot find. You can be part of the crowd that they are looking for. The employers are saying, hey, I need someone who can fill X role, but I cannot find, and you have the capacity, the ability to be one of those people with those skills that are highly sought after. So what is your plan? If you plan to be one of the people that employers are looking for, that 72% of employers are looking for, I want you to type yes in the chat. And it's okay if you plan, to just stay on the sidelines and watch and share everybody on. You can type a no in the chat section. That's still fine. So tell me, are you one of those who is getting ready to take it by storm with AI? Because there's so much opportunities and it's just waiting for people who are ready to step up. Annabelle said yes. Abdul Basi said yes. Okay. Apostle said yes. Esther said yes. Okay. Fantastic. We've got a lot of yes in the house. So nobody wants to say no. What's going on? Nobody wants to say no. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to tell you one thing. You are in the right space. It's exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking to become one of these sought after people, okay, Amarachi said I'll be snatching it. Everybody better watch out for Amarachi because I don't think Amarachi is here to. So how do you build these skills? That's one question. Where do you find these jobs? That's another question. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind, I'm going to be answering the how do you build these skills part of this later. But for now, where to find international roles? One thing I want you to keep in mind is there are a bunch of jobs out there. Like I said, the problem is information. A lot of people don't have information. If you say, where do you find a job right now? So people will tell you, you can find a job you can go to Indeed, you can go to LinkedIn to find a job. It usually is either one of those two. But what I'm going to be showing you here, I'm going to show you how you can take your resume and use that to search, to scout the internet and look for jobs. So what you're doing is that you're pulling these jobs because they already exist. You're pulling them into your atmosphere. A lot of times people will just sit down and type in data analyst into Google. But some of these jobs, they're not optimized for SEO, so they don't pop up. When you go to LinkedIn, you are seeing 100 people have applied for this job. If 100 people, over 100 people have applied for this job, then I'm betting that it's close to 1,000, if not over 1,000. Whenever I'm posting for roles and I look at the number of people who have applied for it, it's overwhelming, which is why these days it's almost impossible for you to recruit without using ATS. And ATS is an applicant tracking system, by the way. It automates the recruitment process. So when you are competing with so many people on job boards that are populated, on job boards that are everywhere, how in the world do you stand out? I'm going to be showing you how you can literally build something like this for yourself in Claude. But before I do that, now if you're targeting different regions for jobs, maybe you want to work in the UK, you want to work in Canada, there are different job boards that you can use. And this is one of the reasons why I'm saying we should fill out the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section so that you can have access to this. You can always come back and you can review this, and you can go check out the links that I have tagged here. I would have loved to open every single one of them and walk them through with you, but we don't have a lot of time. Now, for the UK, we have otter.com. We also have LinkedIn. It's a fine resource. The only thing is, do not leverage that alone. Don't just stay on LinkedIn and Indeed and think that you are going to get the job that you are looking for. Apply on other sites. And again, it can be specific to the region that you are looking to get a job in. So first thing you have to decide for yourself is, what country am I looking to get a job in? If you're targeting Canada, you want to look at sites like Work Remotely. You're going to check out Indeed or Canada, Himalayas. You can use the filter for this. You can check out Workopolis. If you're targeting the US, you can check out Indeed, Built-in, Well-Found, Remote Rocket Ships. All of these are resources that you can check out. Outlier also pays very well, and they're doing mass hiring right now. The only thing is that once you get into Outlier, you basically are in a pool, and then you can get a job, you can get connected, but it's really difficult to pass their interview process. Maybe one of the next sessions that we'll do is maybe a live session on how you can get past interview processes like that. And of course, we also have remote.co, Micro One, JobGather, and others. So question is, how, if I'm looking for a job, Lola, and I don't want to go to any of these sites, one by one, I open LinkedIn, I open We Work Remotely, I open Built-in, and then I'm searching for these jobs. How that it's very time consuming. You have to open each one, filter, and look for it. But there's a faster way for you to do this using AI. Now, I'm going to be using a resume to build this. Is there anyone on the call who wants to volunteer their resume for me to check this out? One person. I need one person to volunteer their resume so we can build a tool in Claude, and then you can see how you can use Claude to pull jobs into your atmosphere. Okay, we've got two people. Lillian said yes, and then Ibu, my apologies. Okobi said I. I'm guessing that I means that Okobi is interested. Okobi is the first person who said I. So Okobi, if you have, please send a thumbs up. Fantastic. All right. So just send in your resume to this email address. This is lola@10analytics.org. Share your resume with this email address. Okay. So now, while we're doing that, I'm going to show you a document real quick. Now, remember to fill out the form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section, the attendance form. That way, you're going to get access to the resource that I'm using today. So this is a job prompt. One of the first things that you can do here is you can review your resume. After you review your resume, then you can rewrite your resume. Remember, we spoke about ATS, that's the applicant tracking system. And trust me, the applicant tracking system is not easy to get past, especially when it's very competitive nowadays to get jobs. If everybody is applying using ATS, then how do you ensure that you are standing out? Number one is ensuring that you are applying for the best jobs, which is one of the reasons why we're going to be using this to see how you can pull jobs into your atmosphere. So targeted application, having a portfolio. I'm going to be showing you how you can build a portfolio. And then the way you interview as well is a part of the process to getting a job. Now, the next step here is you rewrite your resume. And then after that, we can now use your resume to pull in jobs, okay? So I'm going to get started with, have you shared your resume yet? Okobi, I believe you're supposed to share your resume. Have you shared it? Okay, I've just checked my email, and no, I can't see your resume yet. Do you want to share your resume with this email? And while you're doing that, anyone can share their resume. I'm just going to work with the first resume that I see here. Okay, Cirozi said I shared mine. I haven't seen your resume yet. Did you share it with this email, lola@10analytics.org? Because I haven't seen it yet. Okay. You need to share it again. How about you share it again? I can't seem to open the form. It's not responding. Tolulope, please share the number that Chima can reach out to, please. Can you share your resume again with me? Because I can't find anyone's resume here. Could you share that again? Just copy this email address that I pasted here, and then you can share it directly. Okay? Waiting. If I don't get anyone's resume in the next 1 minute, I'm just going to use a test resume for this so we can move on. Okay. Lillian, Ifeanyi, okay, because that's a couple of people said they would like Folashade as well. Melody, you sent in yours. Interesting. I haven't seen it yet. I wonder why. Amarachi said I've sent mine. Well, that's odd. Okay, 1 minute. Let me try again. Maybe it's been blocked. Okay. I'm not seeing his resume. Hi, Labake. Have you shared your resume with me? I have shared. Okay, you know what? Please share the link to your resume in the chat. Let's do that. Share the link to your resume in the chat. For some reason, I can't seem to find it in my inbox. I'm not sure why. Check my spam. It's not even in spam. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Oh, thank you so much, Labake. All right, let me correct that. Please share your email again with lola@10analytics.org. Okay, this is correct. All right, fantastic. You have a resume on, this is a Canva resume, okay? Please check your email, okay? Okay, I can see it now, fantastic. Thank you for spotting that, Labake. All right, so since Labake spotted that, we're going to use Labake's email. She paid attention to the email, so we're going to use hers. All right, so this is Labake's resume. Let's just take a look at that real quick. This is Labake's resume. Now, one thing we want to do here, the first thing we want to do, we're going to go back to the job prompt. Let's go back to the document. You're going to be gaining access to this. Okay, so we're going to copy this. This is the first prompt. Now, what the first prompt is doing is it's telling Claude to act as a senior recruiter and resume strategist with 15 years of experience in talent acquisition, ATS screening, and hiring manager resume reviews. So basically, Claude is going to act as someone, a recruiter with 15 years of experience. So we're going to take that, and then we are going to download Labake's resume. So I'm going to download it here. And we're going to paste your Labake's resume in Claude. Now, if you're watching this video, you can just recreate this process, this step with me. So you want to look for a job. This is the first thing you need to just go to Claude, claude.ai. That's it. It's free. You can see that I'm using a free plan. There are lots of sophisticated models here, but you don't have to do that. You can just use Sonnet 4.6 to achieve this. Now I'm going to attach Labake's resume. Yes, I'm going to be sharing the prompt. My colleagues will be sharing this with everyone who fills out the attendance form. All right, so now I'm going to send this. We're going to give it a couple of minutes. And then while it's doing that, let's go back to this. Now, this is the first prompt we're using. We want to review the resume. We want to see how we can improve the resume. After this, we're going to be launching the next prompt. This is the next prompt. The first one is the resume review. Now, the next prompt is the resume rewrite, okay? So first we are reviewing the resume, then we are rewriting the resume. Let's take a look at Labake's resume real quick before we do that. Now, Labake's resume is Okay, Labake is a detail-oriented human resources and administrative professional. Okay, fantastic. So Labake has experience in HR. So we're going to use AI to rewrite Labake's resume, and then we are going to find jobs that Labake can apply to using AI as well. We're going to tell AI to generate a sheet, and that sheet is going to include jobs that Labake can apply to. Okay, so let's go back to Claude and see what we've got in here. So it's still generating the response. But remember, I'm going to be sharing this prompts with everyone, all of the prompts that we're using today. And all you have to do is just watch the video, and then recreate this. One thing that you want to, okay, so we've gotten our results here. All right. So now the first thing is Labake has gotten her top 20 best fit job titles. So basically, one thing to note, whenever you're looking for a job, if you're a HR professional, for example, you're not necessarily going to find a job with HR professional written on it. It's going to come in different shapes and different sizes. The title is going to change depending on what the requirements for the role is. We've got HR generalist, HR and admin officer, people operations specialist, executive assistant, and then there is also a score that shows Labake like what the level of fit is. As you can see, from HR and admin officer all the way to people operations specialist, it is really strong. But then when you go into executive assistant, and this is based off the details that Labake has in her resume, when you go to executive assistant, employee relations specialist, office manager, it starts to drop. So it shows that this is not a fantastic fit for Labake. However, with her resume and with the skills that she has, she could apply for these jobs. So if I were Labake, I would simply copy these titles. I'm going to start with the ones that are really strong. Now I know the kind of jobs I want to target. Now that's the first thing. So we now have this. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to rewrite Labake's resume. That is the next thing we are going to do. Now remember, what we are doing here is we are getting ready to find a job. We want to build a sheet that we can use to find jobs without necessarily having to go to LinkedIn, open LinkedIn and find the job, and apply for, and finds the job, or open Indeed and find the job. We want to find the job here. So first thing we're going to do is act as an expert resume strategist, a senior recruiter, and ATS optimization specialist, and then build a master resume. So we're going to be building a master resume for Labake. Okay, so I'm going to come here and copy the prompts. Okay, so let's just come here. All right, and copy the prompts. Oops, not sure why I'm copying all of that. Let's do that again. Okay. All right, that's it. Copy this prompt. And then we go back to Claude and we paste it here. It's kind of slow, that is true. All right. So now we're going to get Labake's master resume in a few minutes. It takes some time, but trust me, this is so much better because at the end of this, you get a resume, you get a sheet that contains a list of jobs that you can now sit down, review, and decide, do I want to apply for this job? Which, like I said, is so much faster than having to go to LinkedIn to do it yourself. So while this is cooking, I'm going to show you the final prompts that we're going to be using once we get the results that we're looking for here. Now, the final prompts we're going to be running is the spreadsheet prompt. Okay, so this is going to get all of the jobs. As you can see here, we're looking for jobs that were posted within the last 7 days. And one thing I want you to remember is that the results that you get with AI are only as good as the prompts that you put in. If you want fantastic results, you have to put in a fantastic prompt, and you can keep on refining and refining your prompts. For example, For Labake, if Labake is looking for a job in the US, Labake can say, focus on the jobs that meet these criteria. You can say, a remote hybrid located in my preferred target location. You can now specify what is your target location. Is your target location the UK? Is it the US? Is it Canada? Is it Germany? Is it Australia? If you want the job to pay a specific amount, you can specify that. If you're also, and one thing that also helps as well. So you can also you can look online for companies that are hiring globally around the country. And you can find this in lots of websites. I think you can also find in remote for Africa. Let me check that out. You can find a list in remote for Africa. And you can also add that as well to your prompt. Let me show you what I can see here. So this is remote for Africa. This is a job board. So these are companies that are hiring remotely. Now, if you come here, the list is, there's a point where it's going to get to where you can't find jobs anymore. So one of the things that you can do is you can also get all of these companies, get their name, Hello Me, TikTok, Green Habitat, Atlas, okay, Ito, Customer.io. Chinyere says she can't see my screen. If you can see my screen, please send a thumbs up. If you can see my screen. Okay, so Chinyere, I think that might be your network. Try dropping off the call and joining again. So get the names of all of these companies, and then you can have them in a line. You can also ask that Remote Africa is a paid service. That is true. I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that you can do is you can leverage what I'm showing you, ChatGPT, and that way you can bypass all of this. This is part of the reasons why I'm saying get the list of these companies here. The jobs that you would see posted here, they are jobs that come from these companies that are hiring remotely. So you can get a list of, and you can just go on Google and you can make the search. You don't necessarily have to come to Remote for Africa to make that search, but get these companies and then include that in your prompts. Like I said, the better you do it, the better your prompts, the better your output. Before I'm going to come back right now to Claude, and you can see that we have Labake's resume. So this is a resume that is fully optimized, okay? And we're going to call this Labake's master resume. You can see that we have our professional summary. It's pretty much changed the description. HR and people operations generalist with 4 years, blah, 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 blah. Now, let me tell you the difference. You can say, you know what, I can just do this with AI. That is true. However, the prompts that we use are completely different. So if you try this and you don't use a prompt that is fantastic, you're going to be getting basic results. So the prompt right now is writing it from the perspective of a recruiter with 15 years of experience, and also taking into account ATS and what ATS needs to see. All right, so now we're going to go back to the sheet. We're going to go back to the doc. Remember what the next step is. Now, the next step here is that we want to find jobs that Labake can apply to. Okay, so we want to build the spreadsheet for Labake, and it's going to contain this: the job title, the company name, the job board, the location, the date it was posted, the missing or weak requirements, yada, 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 and all of that. And that's why I said you can get a list of companies that are hiring globally, and you can also add that as well to get fantastic results. The better your prompts, the better your results. You can say, these companies, a list of companies that are hiring globally. I want you to also find 20 more companies that are hiring globally, and then pull their jobs from their career pages and include them in the spreadsheet. It's a lazy people hack, but you don't need all of these jobs that you see are posted on Remotes for Africa. A lot of them are posted on the company's career page, especially when it's an international role. It's literally on the company's career page, but a lot of people don't know they can go there and find these jobs. And that's exactly what AI will be pulling for you. So I'm going to come here and copy this prompt. Okay, so this is what you want to do next. You want to copy the prompt. That's it. Do we get the recording after this webinar? Absolutely, you get the recording after the webinar. Just make sure that you fill out the form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section. So now that we have Labake's master resume, the next step for us is to start building the list of jobs, a spreadsheet with a list of jobs that Labake can apply to. Now, if I was Labake, I would look through this. I always tell people something: when you are using AI to build anything, especially when it is a resume, look through it. Always make sure you audit it. So if I was Labake, I would audit this just to be sure that everything is the way I want it to be. There are certain things I want to change. I would download it, I will upload it to my doc, and then I would make the edits. Now, while Claude is cooking, once it's done cooking, I can sit down and start looking at the jobs that I want to apply to. Some of them are going to require me changing my resume to fit the skills that they are looking for. If they're looking for specific tools, if they're looking for specific competencies, and these are things that I have some experience in, I would ensure that I rewrite my resume, or at least a section of my resume, so that it can pass ATS. Some people are looking for jobs, but then they don't want to have to go through the stress of rewriting their resume every time they apply for jobs. We had a student one time who came back, I think it was like a year or 2 years later, and he didn't have a job. So it was actually the lady who referred him was the one who reached out, and she was very pissed off. She said, he doesn't have a job. It's been 2 years. What in the world is going on? And I thought he built employability skills with 10 analytics. So we had a conversation with him. We had to get on a call. What's going on? Because it's just complete. It's mind blowing. And then when we said to have conversations, first of all, his LinkedIn, he doesn't have a LinkedIn page. You cannot be looking for a job and you don't have a LinkedIn page. Now, it's not like he didn't have a LinkedIn page. He does, but the last time he updated it was 10 years ago. And that to me is, you don't have a LinkedIn page. It's literally non-existent. LinkedIn has its own algorithm. So when recruiters are looking for you, they would come on LinkedIn, they would search for business analysts, data analysts. And if you don't pop up, you have basically missed that. If you have never received a message before from a recruiter that you've never met who said, hey, I think you might like to apply for this job. Your experiences fit the role. You can click here to apply for the job. If you've never received a blast like that, it means that your resume, your LinkedIn profile is not optimized. So that was the first. His profile was not optimized. Then start asking him questions regarding applications. When was the last time you applied for a job? And he was like, yeah, so I apply for jobs, once in a while. You cannot be looking for a job and you're applying once in a few days, once every 3 days, once in 4 days. That is a joke. In order for you to get a job, you need to send out at least 5 quality applications in a day. 5. And this is where tools like this are incredibly helpful, because you can now pull this every day or every couple of days, and you can find new jobs that you can apply to. Then he also mentions that when it comes to making edits to his resume, it's very stressful. It's very, my goodness gracious. It was very obvious by the time he was done why he did not have a job. And then we now have to start working with him to build it. Please, one thing I need to carry from this masterclass, if anything, is if you are looking for a job, you cannot be lazy about it. Looking for a job is a full-time job on its own. And one thing I might be showing you maybe in our next masterclass is how you can add skills to Claude. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to be paid. You can add skills to Claude that can accelerate the time that you use to build your resumes. So that's where you don't necessarily have to sit down all the time and read through every single word. You just know that you have designs the skill. It has the skill to write your resume like you, and that means that you are doing this much more faster than you would. Okay, so now we've gotten our results. So this is it. The search is done, and we have basically pulled jobs from different sources. So these are jobs that Labake can apply to. Can you see this? So this is an Excel sheet. And then this Excel sheet contains, so the job title, HR Operations Officer. We have HR and Admins Officer. And then you can see the dates that these jobs were posted as well. Can you see this? So all of these jobs were posted in July. And remember, we put in the requirements that these jobs must be recent jobs, so in the last 48 hours. We also see a match score here as well. So this is a match score of, this is the highest one here. We have 88, 85, 87, okay, 87, that's quite high. All right. So you can see that the ones that are green are the ones that Labake is a fantastic fit for. And then we can also see the reason why Labake is a match for these jobs. We can see that in Labake's, when you're applying for these jobs, you have to fill out a form. So that form that you're filling out, sometimes they would ask you a bunch of questions. They might say, tell me about a time when you, why do you want to join our company? Why do you want to this? Why do you want to? So it's very important that you emphasize on certain keywords there and even in your resume. So how we did this was that it looked at the job description and then it's saying, what do they want to see? So remember, you can get the results that you're looking for with this. All you have to do is customize the prompt. You're going to be getting the prompt. Customize it. Are you looking for jobs in the UK? Are you looking for jobs in the US, in Canada, in Australia? Just make sure you customize the prompt so you can pull in jobs from these locations. And just like that, Labake has jobs that she doesn't have to go and sit down to look for. She can just click here and she can go apply to the jobs. That's how easy it is for you to get a job these days using AI. I can see that your hand is up. I can see your hand is up. Aji Safe, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'll be taking questions after this session. Okay. Congratulations in advance, Labake. Tell me about it. Now, this can work for anybody. Anyone can use this. The most important thing is that you customize your prompt. And like I said, please do not be lazy when you are applying for jobs. You're going to have to apply a lot of times and keep on applying. You're going to get rejected. Yes, it happens. You're going to get rejection letters. But so long as you keep on applying, you will find the job that is the right fit for you. Now, this prompt that I use, it works for any industry. It works for any country. And you can do this every 48 hours. Then you now have a list of jobs that you can apply to on your own. Okay, so fantastic. I'm going to go back now. But again, if you want to recreate this process, you can watch this video on YouTube and you can follow everything that we did to get this. Labake, don't worry, I'm going to share this with you. But you can drop your email in the chat, Labake, so I can download the sheet and share it directly with you. But at the same time, you can also watch the video and then you get the prompt, so you can do this exact. You can just repeat the same process. But you can share your email, and I'm going to share this with you directly. Okay, now we've gone over what it takes for you to get a job and how you can find jobs and pull them into your atmosphere. Just real quick, I want to talk about a couple of people who have come into our programs and have gotten the results that they wanted. This is Ahmed. Ahmed joined our data analytics program and he got a job with the NHS as a health informatics support worker in June. No, this pricing is small. So this, what you're seeing on the side, this is the reference that we filled out for Ahmed. We filled out a reference because it's not just about you coming in to learn a skill and then we're saying, hey, these are the employability skills for you to go get a job. A lot of times when you're looking to get a job, especially if you're looking to get a job in, say, UK, in Canada, they would ask you for references. The question is, do you have a reference that you can provide? So for people like Ahmed, we provided the references for them. We also have people like Zulaya. We also provided the reference for her. We have people like Ade, who got a job with the NHS as a senior project manager. We provided the reference for him. We have people like Olusegun, who was in Nigeria, and he got a remote job in Canada. And he got this the same month that he completed his program. Some of you might have watched the video and you might have seen when you first came in, you might have heard Olusegun sharing his story. But Olusegun got a job the same month that he completed his program. Now, I want to spotlight Olusegun's story and focus on a few things here, because when you can understand how someone got certain results, then you understand how you can recreate the results for yourself. Now, Olusegun was an operations manager working for a logistics company in Lagos, and he joined our 10 Analytics AI Automation Engineering program in November 2025 and completed it in January 2026. In 2026 of January, he landed a remote job with a company in Canada as an AI automation engineer. And then he didn't stop there because he's very ambitious. He then went up to set up his own AI consultancy in April 2026. He's a real person, he exists, and you can look him up. So the question is, how do you achieve the same results for yourself? I'm going to show you exactly the process that he used to get the results. How do you replicate it for yourself? Now, Frank also follows the same path as well. Frank joined our Generative AI for Data Analyst program in November 2025, and he completed his program in February 2026. He got a job with a UK-based company in June 2026. So it wasn't long ago that we celebrated with Frank. And by the way, he was a fresh graduate, fresh out of school, fresh grad, fresh fish. He had no idea what he was doing in the market. And he came in, he learned the skills that he needed. And above all that, he became employable, because you can have all of the skills in the world. If you are not employable, you are not getting that job. He was in Anambra when he got a job with a UK-based company that deals in solar-powered vehicles. The only way he was able to get this job, the only reason he was able to get this job is because he positioned himself. Not only did he develop the skills, he became visible, he applied. He also got rejections, but he kept on applying. And if you notice something between Segun and Frank, it didn't take long for them to get the results that they wanted. That shows that when you are consistent and you do something over and over and over again, you will get the results that you're looking for. Okay, now let's look at the categories, the AI categories. And this is just the few that we have picked out. There are a bunch of AI categories, but you see, these ones are the ones that we're going to spotlight, because you're going to find lots and lots of opportunities around this. AI data analyst, AI business analyst, AI automation specialist, content strategist, project manager, HR analytics. Now, the reason why these are spotlighted, like I said, is because there are lots of opportunities around it. The amounts that you can see here, from 2,000 to 5,000, you can break this band. It really depends on how you package yourself. It's all about how you present yourself in the market, because a lot of times, like I mentioned earlier, employers have a wish list when they are looking to hire. They have this long list of fantastic skills and all of that the person must have. But the truth is that what they are looking for is someone who knows how to do the job, number one. And then the things that you don't know, you are able to learn fast. So you can actually walk into a company and you can charge way more than this and completely shatter this barrier. If you're in Nigeria, you want to stay in Nigeria, you're earning 4,500, you're earning $5,000, you're earning $6,000. That's a lot of money. And there are lots of people who are making this salary just working from Nigeria because they have, number one, the skill, and then number two, the information necessary. Now, I've mentioned this before. The best time for you to get into AI was yesterday. Your second best time is today, because between 2027 to 2029, the market is going to fill up. It's filling up right now as we are speaking. If you upskill using AI, not only do you become valuable now, you also become valuable in the future, because it's going to be very difficult to replace someone who is literally a force multiplier. I shared the story of my friend with you, who was basically holding down 3 different roles. And when this person left, they had to build a unicorn job description to replace this person. And they still couldn't find that person in the market. This speaks to over 70% of employers not being able to find the skilled talents that they needed. They were recruiting for 2 months. And then they had to break the job apart and hire for 3 different roles to replace the position of one person. This tells you that with AI, you literally become a beast. Now, if you don't get into AI today, by the time AI becomes a baseline, everybody and their grandma is doing it. It's not there's something going to be it's not going to be special anymore. Your earning ability will be significantly reduced, because the reason why people are paying so much money for people who understand how to use AI to solve problems right now is because it's still not the norm. By the time it becomes the norm, requirements are going to shift. It's only going to get higher. I can't tell you as a professional how much understanding how to use AI in my workflow has saved me so much time. There are things I used to do before where I would spend a long time designing, a long time building, and now with AI, all I have to do is just have the right prompt or know the right tool for me to use. And that's it. In a couple of minutes, I'm good. Now, I want to show you the difference between an application that is filtered out immediately and an application that is tailored. Okay? Now, if you are using the same CV for every job that you're applying to, you are not going to get the results that you want. Some people don't even read job descriptions. They just click apply, apply, apply. They don't read. You have to read the job description. One of the reasons why you need to, when you use the prompts that I'm going to be sharing with you to develop the spreadsheet, go to the jobs that are being suggested for you and read through the jobs. Then the resume you are using to apply, ensure it is tailored, fantastic. It is perfect for the role before you hit submit. Now, when you submit a generic application, ATS will filter it out before a human will see it. This means that nobody wants to spend 5 hours reviewing lots and lots of resumes. These days, what people are doing is they are setting up automation that can filter out all of these resumes that do not meet their requirements. I want someone with at least 10 years of experience. What it's going to do is it's going to check how long you have been working, and then it will say, okay, yeah, this person is not a fit. I want someone who understands how to use Power BI. The ATS is looking for Power BI in your resume. Now, it's not like you don't know how to use it or you know how to use it. However, you did not list it there. So the job description is basically your cheat sheet, and that is why you need to read it. Okay. Now, if you don't have a cover letter or you have a generic cover letter, I call this AI slop, by the way, where people use AI to generate rubbish. You use AI to generate nonsense. You don't read it. And then you just go and you click and you submit. Let me show you an example of what I mean. Remember that we generated an AI, a resume for Labake. Okay, so let's go back to that resume real quick that we generated for Labake. Now imagine if Labake does not read this and Labake just goes and she hits on submit. I'm going to show you what this has. So there are a couple of things, and this is why you need to audit whatever it is that AI brings out for you. So now we have like the professional summary. Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see this. I don't think I can. Let me try again. Can you see it? Is it better? No, I don't think so. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out again. Okay, so now we have the professional summary, the core skills and competencies. That is fine. When you scroll down, do you see this? Alternate summaries. Remove before submitting. Okay, so now there are different alternate summaries that Labake can choose. You can say, oh, you know what, I want to just download and open it. You know what, that is a fantastic idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Let me download it. Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to upload it now. Fantastic. Okay. All right, let me share that screen. So it's very important, like I said, that you read whatever is generated for you. So all of this section is fine. It's fantastic. Let me increase this for you. Okay, so all of this is fine. It works. However, when you come here, you can see, thank you for that, Chinon. So you can see remove before submitting. You can see the HR generalist, HR coordinator. You can see different headers depending on the job that Labake wants to apply to. There's even a tailoring guide now. Imagine Labake submits this without reading. And trust me when I tell you that a lot of people do. A lot of people do. I have seen worse resumes than this. They just go to ChatGPT, they upload, and then whatever it downloads for them, they just download that and then they upload it. It shows that you don't even have attention to detail. So please read and you're sure that this works before you hit on submit. It's one of the things that could completely rule you out for a job. Okay, so now you also have like, remember what I said, your cover letter, read it, make sure you edit it. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know disqualifies them for jobs is no portfolio. You don't have a portfolio. These days, the job market rewards proof. We always say something in analytics, competence over credentials. What that means is that nobody cares if you went to Harvard. Nobody cares if your daddy went to Stanford. Nobody cares. The one thing a business cares about is revenue. Now, unless you're a Nepo baby, that's different. If you're out there, you're looking for a job, nobody cares about your school. The one thing that shines through is competence. And how do you show competence? You show competence through proof. You say, hey, look at this, I have done this before. And how do you do that? You show that through your portfolio. And that's one of the reasons why what we do in analytics is you are learning. As you are learning, you are building your portfolio. So every single project that you work on in the program, you are developing your portfolio. And that is one of the things that is different for you, okay? So you are learning and building your portfolio. Now we've already done this. We're taking a look at all of these jobs, all of these job boards. Remember, I'm going to be sharing the prompts with you and you can see how to do that for yourself. Now let's quickly look at how Frank, if you remember, I mentioned Frank before. Let's quickly look at how Frank achieves the results that he did. I'm going to take us quickly through it. We're getting ready to wrap up. So if you have any questions, just get ready because I'm going to be taking questions very soon. Now for Frank, how did Frank learn? How did Frank learn and get a job with a UK-based company in June 2026? What did he do? Because that will tell you what you need to do. Now, like I mentioned before, you learn in a project-based environment. And this means that as you are learning, you are building your portfolio. Nobody wants to hire someone who cannot show proof. If you're looking at a data analyst, one of them applied with a portfolio, the other applied without a portfolio. Who do you hire? For one of them, you can see what they can do. You can see the projects they've worked on, their best projects. For the other one, it's all just tell. I say something, your portfolio and your resume, they are your show and your tell. One of them is your show. The other one is your tell. Your show is your portfolio. Your tell is your resume, because you can say, hey, I increased X by 20%, by 30%. You're just telling me what you did. With your portfolio, you are showing me. And now we literally have ATS that is designed to filter out people who don't have portfolios linked in their resume. So if you don't upload the field for portfolio, it would literally filter out your application if that is a requirement for them. And it is a growing requirement for recruiters all over the world. Now, you also learn by building your experience in class. So the projects that you are working on, the projects you are working on, you are using that in your portfolio. So when it's time for you to apply for jobs, you can now use that to apply for jobs. Now, one thing I want to completely crush, one mentality is, oh, I need to be a tech person in order for me to get into this. Absolutely not. Like I mentioned at the start, we've got thousands of people who have come in, they had no experience in tech, and we were able to take them from where they were at to the next stages of their career. Oh, I don't know how to code. You just saw me use Claude. I did not write a single line of code. However, there was code involved on the back end, but I did not have to write a single line of code. Another popular one is, I'm too old or I'm too young. One of our youngest students, his name is Christian. Christian came in at the age of 16 and he got a job at 17. It was his brother who signed him up actually. His brother said, oh, Christian is way too smart. He was 16 years old. He showed a lot of interest in data. So his brother signed him up and Christian got a job. So it goes a long way to show that the market prioritizes your competence over credentials. We also have people who are age 60 who come in and then they learn a new skill, become employable, and then they now add what we call transferable skills. They are able to demonstrate that, hey, all of my years of experience is not wasted. It transfers into this role, and they have been able to break into the market successfully and get the jobs that they wanted. So a couple of stories like Pavel, for example. Pavel came in and he became a healthcare data analyst. Okay, Pavel built a strong portfolio. He also got prepped for multiple interviews, which led to Pavel not getting one or two. He got multiple job offers. Now fill out the form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section because you're going to get access to this so you can watch all of these videos in your own time. These are real people. You can go on LinkedIn, you can check them out, you can ask them to share their story with 10 Analytics and they will share it with you. But this is a process that you can recreate for yourself. Less than 3 months after he completed his program, he got a job as a healthcare data analyst in Arizona. This is Bukola. The same thing happened for Bukola. Bukola got not one, but two job offers. Okay, her first role was as a business analyst, and her second role was as a data business analyst in July 2025. As my mother would say, these people don't have two heads. So how do you become one of these people, one of the people whose story we are sharing? How do you get started? I'm going to show you. So we have different tracks. Now, the first track is generative AI for data analysis. The second track is generative AI for business analysis and projects management. And then the third track is generative AI for HR analytics. Now, in all of these tracks, as you can see, the tools that you are going to be learning are different and are customized for each of them. For data analysis, you're going to be learning SQL, you're going to be learning chat. If you notice, like all of these are a bunch of automation and AI tools, because this is how you can level up using AI for each of these tracks, okay? You're going to be learning NA10 for data analysis. You're going to be learning Jira, My Map AI, Notion, NA10 for business analysis and projects management. You're going to be learning Julius, NA10, Bricks, and SQL and others for generative AI for HR analytics. So this means that you're already on this path, or you think this is the best path for you. This is how you become, how you take your skills, and how you become a complete beast at it. When companies are looking to hire these days, you're looking for professionals who understand how to add AI to their workflows and use it as a force multiplier. Now we've got others. There's also generative AI for automation engineering. There is generative AI for video creation. And finally, generative AI for software development. Now, all of these tracks I just walked you through, their live classes happen on Saturday between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's when you have your live classes. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You come into class, you've got your fantastic facilitator, you can ask questions. Throughout, you are watching self-paced. So you're watching your videos, and while you're watching your videos, you're also recreating what you are learning. That's it. So you watch your videos, you recreate it, then you can come into class and you can ask questions. Now you also gain access to a community as well. You have a community. You also have a facilitator that you can reach out to say, hey, I need support, I have questions. But that's not all. Your learning timeline is 2 months. This is broken down into 6 weeks and 2 weeks. So for 6 weeks, you are learning in class. And then for 2 weeks, you are taking your capstone projects. Now, how do we spread this around to ensure that you get value for every minute that you are a part of the community, actively learning? Between your first week to your second week, you are building your foundation. Between your third week to your fourth week, you are building your core skills. Okay, and then between your fifth to sixth week, now you already have projects. Now you can start saying, oh, you know what, I want to apply for this job. This is where things actually get very serious, and where your capstone project will also start. And then by the end of this, you should be ready to launch your career. A couple of things have to happen for this to be possible. That includes your live sessions. Now, if you miss a live session, oh, I'm not available on Saturday, I couldn't watch it, it's recorded and it is uploaded in your LMS. Your LMS is your learning management system. So you can always go there and watch your recorded replays. You also have access to fantastic projects. You have access to a peer community, and you also have access to mentorship as well. Mentorship, I cannot emphasize the value of mentorship enough. Mentorship is how people are able to accelerate their careers, because you literally are talking to someone who has done it before. For example, you could be talking to Frank, you could be talking to Olusegun. If you're able to pull them from their busy schedules, and a bunch of other graduates like Pavel and others who can come in. Sometimes they drop into our mentorship sessions, and then we have the participants, the students, ask them questions. Hey, how can I do this, or how can I do that? What do you advise I do? Because this is different when you see someone who is doing something that you want to do. Absolutely, yes, we do LinkedIn optimization. I'm going to be talking about that in a few. So how do we ensure that your employability aspect is taken care of? A couple of things that fall under employability includes, number one, mentorship access, like I mentioned. So you're going to be listening to people like Pavel, people like Olusegun, and learning from them. This happens once a week. It happens every Thursday. So it's a live session. You can join in and you can ask questions. Then we also offer interview preps as well. Interview preps means that by the time you start to get all of these jobs, you're getting all of these interviews. If you have 20 interviews, you have 500 interviews, you have 50, you have 70, 1,000, you can book 1,000 interview preps. That means that we're going to have an expert sit with you, your facilitator, and then both of you are going to go over the questions you're going to get. You find that it helps you ease your anxiety. Then you're also getting access as well to LinkedIn optimization. So we're going to be helping you optimize your LinkedIn. We're going to be helping you build a perfect resume. And then we are also going to be teaching you how you can become employable. All of this is going for 150,000, which is 40% less than what we offer at a regular price at 250,000. Okay, so it covers 8 weeks intensive AI training, LinkedIn profile optimization. And remember, while you're in the program, you are also building your project as well. You're building your portfolio, your CV revamp, your interview prep. So coaching, like I said, it doesn't matter how many interview preps you get. We're going to help you with every one of them. And then we also have the professional job references as well. Oh, you've gotten a job in the UK, you've gotten a job in Canada. What is the next step for you? Another fantastic thing is that you can also list 10 analytics as well in your profile and say, I've worked for a company in Canada before. I've worked for a company in Alberta. And for a lot of these companies, what they're looking for is someone who already has background or context in that in the West before. How exactly are you going to work here? You need to get experience, but this is literally your experience. And then when it's time for you to get reference, we can provide that reference to you. Now, you can also gain access as well to the mentorship session. And I think the best part of it, because I'm very big on community, is lifetime community access. So think about all of the people who have been in your shoes, who have been sitting exactly where you are right now, wondering, What is the next step for me? How do I move from here to where I want to be? I want to relocate. I want to leave this country, but how do I handle that? And they have achieved everything they wanted to. We have built a community of thriving people like this who are ready to mentor anyone who wants to be mentored. But for you to gain access to this community, you have to become an alumni. And that is the process that we are showing you. Okay, now remember what I said. For you to get this is 150,000. You can get this 150,000 today, and that means if you decide, oh, I'm ready to do this right now, Lola, you are paying 50,000 in 3 places. So 50,000 now to secure a spot, and then you pay the rest in tranches. And one thing I'm going to tell you is that if you decide, you know what, I'm not really sure this is for me, Lola, I'm not sure, am I really going to enjoy this? Is this the best move for me? Try it. Lock down your spot with 50,000. You don't have to make the full payment. Come into the program and see whether or not this is the best fit for you. Now, my colleague is dropping a link in the chat section, and that includes 3 ways that you can make your payment. If you go to the page, let me show you what this looks like. So if you go to the page, this is what you're going to see. Okay, so you click on the payments link, you're going to see this. Okay, so this is where you now come in and then you select the course that you want to go for. I've just walked you through all of the courses that we offer, and I've shown you like the value of every one of them, so you can decide the one that works for you. So you come here, you have AI for business analysis, you have AI for social media and content creation, you have AI automation engineering and all of that. Okay, now I'm going to click on enroll now. When you click on enroll now, you just have to, okay, let's click on that. Okay, I can see a question in the chat. I see that most international roles require certifications. How does one navigate this without one? Can you clarify what you mean when you say certifications? So if you're talking about, it depends on the kind of role that you're looking for. Maybe if you want to work in like the financial industry, for example, that is heavily regulated. So yes, there are certifications that would be required. But one thing I can tell you is that the world is shifting to a point where it's competence over credentials. So literally nobody cares. Although, yes, certification is required for some of them, but not all of them. And this is why you read the job description. So you have to be specific. I'm not sure which ones you're referring to exactly, or what certification you're talking about. But for many of them, it's mainly based on experience, what you can offer. And this is part of why you cannot be serious about applying for a job when you don't have a portfolio. You need to build a portfolio. If you're a data analyst, the only thing an employer cares about is whether or not you can build solutions for them. That is what they care about. Are you skilled enough to push insights from our data? Are you skilled enough to use data to solve problems for us? Do you have the skill that we need? Do you have the problem-solving skills that we need? That's like the most important thing. Everything else is secondary. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, when you come here, you can see that you have a one-time price today of 119,000. For those of you who say, you know what, Lola, I trust you. I'm going to make full payment today. You can make full payment at 119,000, and you can do that today. Okay, so all you have to do is select the full payment, and then you also have to select the cohort that you're starting with. So you can see here that we have the August cohort, and then we have the September cohort. August 2026 and September 2026. If you select the August cohort, it means that you're going to be starting on the 1st of August. That gives you a couple of weeks to get ready before your cohort starts. So with August 2026, you're getting started on the 1st of August. So here, I'm going to select August 2026, and then I'm going to come down here and select whichever one I want to go for. Do you want to go for the 3 installments, which is 50,000? 50,000 in 3 places equals 150,000 in total. And you can pay this in tranches, or you can go for the full payment and get an extra discount, and you can it down at 119,000. That's what you have to do. Next thing, you select your currency that you want to pay in, and then you can now click on Pay Now, and that's it. It redirects you to a payment gateway where you can complete your payment, okay? So you can either make a transfer to this, or you can, if maybe this doesn't work for you, that's the reason why my colleague has also dropped a bunch of links in the chat section. So you can try this one out. If it doesn't work for you, you can just try out the second link, and you go there and you can input the exact amounts that you want to pay. Okay, so there are two different links that have been shared. The first link, you can select the course. On the second link, you can go in, you can select this. Let me just show you what this looks like. I see some questions in the chat. I'm going to be responding to that in a minute. So you can come here and you can select the amounts that you want to pay in, and then you complete your payment. That's it. You enter your email address. Now, once you do this, you gain access to your LMS. However, your program starts on the 1st of August for those who select the August cohort. If you have any problems with your payments, please send a message to this number that my colleague is dropping in the chat section. Or if you have successfully made your payments, you can share your receipt to this number. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, once you complete this process, you have access and you'll be getting started with either the August or the September cohort. It's that simple. And one thing I want you to keep in mind is even after the 8 weeks is over, you are still a part of 10Analytics community. I had to jump on a call the other day with someone who had issues with a new system that he was working on, and he's already employed, so he's working in the US, and he needed to use a new system, and he wasn't familiar with it. The ecosystem was new to him, and to be honest, it was new to me as well. But I got one of our consultants on the call, and it was Rippling. I'm not sure if you're familiar, if anyone on the call is familiar with Rippling. I'm not familiar with their ecosystem, so I couldn't figure it out. So we had to get a consultant on the call, and we handled all of that. We got a consultant on the call who showed him how we can handle the configurations. Very straightforward, very simple. This is someone who has graduated. He's been out of our program for about 8 months. He's gotten a job, he's moved on, but he was still able to reach out to say, hey, I need help. And that is the power of community. So when you come into 10Analytics, you're not just buying a course, you are buying community, you are buying employability, and you are also buying access as well. All right, now if you have questions, either raise your hand or you can drop it in the chat section. I'm going to be looking at the chat section now to answer questions. Ciro Z said, please, can you speak extensively on the opportunities on AI content creation and video editing? It seems the focus has been on the other big guys. Not at all, actually. There are lots of opportunities with AI content creation and video editing. I'm just going to go back here. Let me show you what you're going to be learning under this track. 1 minute. So every single track that you see here is here because there are lots of opportunities here. Like I mentioned, the main thing for us, the main goal here is that you are able to get a job. And if this does not offer the best opportunities in the market, you would literally not see it here. We're going to uproot it immediately. So for video content creation, you're going to be learning prompt engineering. You're going to be learning video editing. This is usually the people who go for this are creatives. If you're an influencer or if you're a creative, maybe you're always online, you make money online, and you want to build pages, you want to make a lot of money, connect your YouTube account with your Instagram account, generate a lot of content. Pretty much you want to make money with content creation. Maybe you're a social media manager, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're a contractor, and you manage multiple social accounts. This is one of the best ways, the best things for you to learn. You can basically use AI as a force multiplier, and there's just one you, but it seems like you've got 20 employees. We're going to be teaching you how you can use HeyGen, how you can use Veo, how you can use Leonardo AI and all of the fantastic tools right now that are currently in the in the video space, in the video content creation space. So the big guys are getting attention, but yes, the video creation is also a big guy. Let me tell you one thing that's really crazy. There are lots of accounts that you follow these days that are literally run by AI. They are fully run by AI. You think that they are real people, but they're not. Everything is generated by AI. You could be talking to a person and what they are wearing is AI. So when you say like the big guys, this is one of the biggest things right now in the market. So long as it's being powered by AI and it's area is your imagination, it's the biggest thing right now in the world. So content creation is a fantastic track for if you're a creative and if trying to make payments, but the network is messing up. Okay, so you can try, thank you for sharing this link, Uche. You can try using start button to complete your payment. And then if it doesn't work, Uche, please share the number. Fantastic. Ifeanyi is asking, when is the last day to make payment to be a part of the August or September cohorts? So you have to make payments before the start of the cohort. For August, for the August cohort, it's starting on the 1st. However, I would advise that you lock down today so you can lock down at the discount of 119,000. If you're paying on any other day, I cannot guarantee the price will not go up. So you have a special discount. Please take advantage of your discount and get started as soon as you can. All right. Do we have any other questions? You can raise your hand if you have a question. Feel free to do that. Okay, so Blessed is asking, how many samples of portfolio would you say is best? And should someone niche down when creating a portfolio or just create areas of project in? Okay, so this is a fantastic question, by the way. The best way for you to get a result is for you to have a niche. Always have a niche. If you don't have a niche, you're just shooting in the dark. So narrow it down. How many samples would you say is best? As many as you can create. So let me put it into perspective for you. If 10Analytics was hiring for a business analyst and Amazon is hiring for business analysts, the requirements are different. They are very different. What 10Analytics is looking for in a business analyst is different from what Amazon is looking for in a business analyst. And you know why? Because the industries are different. One of them is in ed tech, the other one is in e-commerce. And they all have their nuances. Nobody wants to spend time trying to train somebody or onboard them so they understand the industry. Someone who is already operating in that space has context that is valuable and they can hit the ground running. So when you are building your portfolio, approach from that perspective. You have to be very clear on which industry you want to get a job. I will not advise you to be shooting bullets in the dark. Be very clear and focused. Do you want to get a job in the fintech space? Do you want to get a job in e-commerce? Do you want to get a job in ed tech? Where do you want to get a job? Now, once you narrow it down, you now build your portfolio, and your portfolio is a list of projects that fall under this industry. So you can now use that to apply for jobs. Okay, so I would say that just create a niche portfolio, and you can apply to as many as you want to, so long as you can create fantastic portfolios that fit the use case. Okay, so Lanre is saying, I'm trying to create an account after picking the enroll now option. Okay, yeah, Lanre, please use this link that Uche has dropped in the chat section to complete your payment, and let us know if you need any help doing that. Just use this link, and then once you've done that, you can send a message to WhatsApp, and then you gain access to the LMS and to the community as well. All right, do we have any other questions? Any other questions? Anyone? Feel free to ask your questions. You can drop it in the chat section or you can raise your hand. Any questions? Are we good? Okay. So it seems like everyone is fine. We don't have any other questions. All right. So one thing I want you to keep in mind is that the earlier you get started, the better. Time is ticking. Literally like this. Every minute that you wait is more minutes, seconds gone, days, weeks, months. And then that thing that you said you were going to do at the start of 2026, you haven't gotten started on doing it. One of the hardest things for you to do is to build new habits, is to do something new. Funny enough, our brain is wired to do things that are harmful and things that do not add any value for us and actually enjoy it. For example, you're scrolling on TikTok, you're watching Netflix, you're watching Prime, you're watching Disney Plus. It doesn't add any value to you, but you can sit down and watch HBO all day. Aside from, you're just having fun. But when it comes to learning, doing the thing that needs to be done for you to move to the next level of your career, planning, applying for jobs, it seems to take more effort than it should. And that's why it's not for everybody. But for everyone who got on this call and who has stayed up until this time, I think it's because you're looking for something. And what I'm hoping is that, you find exactly what you're looking for. Remember, if you've not filled out the link that my colleague shared in the chat section, you're not going to be getting access to the prompts that was used here. So you can recreate what I did and build your spreadsheets just like I did for Labake. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining and for staying with us for this long. Looking forward to seeing you all in class. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone, and bye.